We'll start our class. Yesterday, what we saw was how to create a thread using the extents. How to create threads using extents. Today, we will see the second method, how to create a thread from the runnable interface. You will have to use the keyword called implements. Runnable. Runnable is a interface. Okay, so we'll have to use the keyword implements runnable. There are 4 steps. Step 1, step 2, and step 4 are the same like we had in extends thread. What we have extra is we are creating a thread by passing an object. We are creating a thread by passing an object. So let's do it with the help of a program. Okay. So this is what we are going to do. Hope you can see my screen. Sahiba, please keep track of my screens, okay? So now we're going to create a thread with the second method using implements runnable. Using implements runnable, okay? So let's have a main thread runnable, thread run, okay? Thread run public static void main. We'll even create a class, let's say thread 1. Now, instead of extends, you will have to write implements runnable. You're using an interface over here. Implements, my spelling went wrong. Yeah, that's correct. It should have come in blue. Class thread 1 implements runnable. Okay, just like your other method, you will have a public void run. You will have a public void run. Everything else is same, okay? And I will have an SOP over here. Control C, Control V. Let's say thread is running. Thread is running. Thread is running. Okay. So here, now let us start creating the thread. Okay. To create the thread, we have a class called thread1. So first what we do is, just like as in our extends we did, you will write thread1. Let's say m1 is equal to new thread1. You are instantiating, you are creating an object. You are creating an object of your thread class. Okay, you are creating an object of thread1 called m1. Now, the additional step you have is, you should even have, thread is a keyword. Thread is a keyword, thread is a default class, okay? You should even have a thread object, let's say thread t1. Thread t1 is equal to new thread. Control C, Control V. Together with your thread class, you should even have a thread, which means, you are creating a thread T1. Now, when you use runnables, you are creating a thread T1 by passing the object of your class. Hope I'm very clear. You are creating a thread. The thread created here is T1. T1 is the thread. T1 is the thread. T1 is the thread. T1 is the thread, and you are creating the thread by passing an object, which is the object M1 of your thread class. Okay, but if you were using extends, over here, you did not have had to have this. This was not needed. Okay, that is what I was telling you earlier. When you create a thread using implements runnable, you will have an extra statement. The extra statement is nothing but you are creating a thread. Thread is a keyword. You are creating a thread by passing an object into the thread. Okay. Now, as normal, what we'll do is we will start off our thread. I'll write T1 dot start. Everything else is the same. T1 dot start. Okay. And then all the other things as normal will work. Let's say T1 dot set priority. You're giving a priority for your thread. Let's say priority 4. You can do an SOP to display your thread priority. Control C, Control V. I give thread priority is yes. Yes, I can give plus T1 dot get priority, T1 dot get priority. I can even get the name of my thread. As I told you, if you don't give any name, the default created thread will be T0. Okay, thread name is T1 dot get name, and so on. All your things as you worked in your extents, everything will work. The only difference is you will have to have over here implements runnable instead of extends thread. Earlier you had extends thread. Instead of that, you will have implements runnable. You will have an additional statement over here. This will be the additional statements. When you do extends thread, you did not have to create an extra thread object over here because it was automatically extends thread. So this statement was unnecessary when you were doing extends thread. When you do implements runnable, you will have to have an extra statement called thread T1 so as to create a thread and pass the object. I'll save my program, thread run, file save as thread run.java. Okay, I'll execute my program. So we have an error-free program. Let's run the program. Thread run. Okay, you have a thread. The priority is 4. I did not give any name for my thread because I didn't give any name, and this was the first thread in my program. The thread took up a default name, thread 0. If I had a second thread, it would have taken thread 1 and so on. They're asking me whether the thread is alive. Yeah, the thread is alive. True. Is alive, you get only Boolean, either true or false. The thread is very much alive, so I get the answer true. And then I get my thread to start running. Hope the output is very clear. I'll take my program back. Okay, so this is how you create a thread using Runnable. The only difference here is you have this statement and this particular line. Remaining everything else, all your other things are exactly same as your extends